WLBT's First Alert Weather Team is keeping you up to date with the latest information. From your morning commute to your afternoon drive, we're on your side, streaming on your favorite devices. WLBT First Alert Weather Plus.
WLBT's First Alert Weather Team is committed to your safety with 6 hours of continuous team coverage.
This is a relentless storm, Dave.
We're fortunate we all made it out alive.
And our network of skycams across the state alerting you to danger, bringing you live footage of tornadoes as they touch down in Wathau County.
Look at this, Chase. Guys, look at that.
This is ground zero almost. I mean, this is really hard to stomach, like I said.
We take our commitment to being on your side seriously, and together, we're Mississippi Strong.
Weekdays, stream First Alert Weather Plus.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
WLBT's First Alert Weather Team is keeping you up to date with the latest information. From your morning commute to your afternoon drive, we're on your side, streaming on your favorite devices. WLBT First Alert Weather Plus.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Dave Roberts here, along with meteorologist Elise Ushman, back from a nice little vacay. That video in the background you see on the graphic there, that is where she was vacationing. A very beautiful place like that.
Right. All cloudy and
rainy. Just a breeze. Reminds me of South Padre Island, which ever been to South Padre? So I don't want to down it. I don't want to dog it.
Sounds like you're gonna.
I lived in a tropical paradise where turquoise water, it was destroyed by a hurricane. It's not the same anymore, but it was. It's beautiful. Then I moved to Mississippi, and I've lived here three times in my life since the early 90s. And so I was used to the Gulf Coast. But the Gulf Coast here is different. It's a man-made beach for the most part, and it's shallow water. It's not going to be turquoise unless you go out to the Barrier Islands. But it's lush with seafood. It's a totally different vibe. Then you go to South Padre Island, and it looks like that. Windy, a lot of clouds, and seaweed everywhere. Choppy waves and no shade. So I like the Gulf Coast of Mississippi because you can at least hide under a palm tree, okay? Or you could just park your car right there. And the beaches in Texas, you got to park you literally park right by the water. You got to move according to the tide. Oh yeah. They don't have like parking lots.
I don't like that.
Isn't that strange? You drive like through. They have what they do is they have these what do you call them? Sand dunes.
Yeah.
And you drive between them. But they've carved out a little road with a bulldozer. And you just park on the beach and have a good time. And don't get me wrong, everybody sets up a little tent there and they have a good time and hang out. But this wind drives me nuts. And the surf, I'll show you pictures of it and you'll be like, I'm not going in there. Like a rational person would not. But people that are from there, they go crazy over South Padre Island. And when I went there, they were like, oh, isn't this great? You're going to love this. It's going to be great. And
he said, have you ever been to...
And I'm just like... no, it's not really great. The advantage is when a hurricane hits there, it's got a long ways to go before it hits a house. That's
true.
the difference between here and the difference between where I lived in Florida.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with everybody because I think it's fascinating, at least for me. And it gives time for people to join our little broadcast. So we're happy to see all of you this afternoon. We're happy to see Elise back here as well. We got a little work for Elise this week. We're going to keep her entertained because we've got a system that's trying to get developed. It's still over Florida right now, so it hasn't hit the eastern Gulf yet, but it's going to.
So the tropics are heating up. Speaking of which, this is our hotspot, our little low pressure Invest 93L, whatever you want to call her, him, it. 40% chance of development. They've held steady with that at the National Hurricane Center. So here's what we could see. This is our short range model that goes out into Thursday evening. Wednesday, still not much going on. Still tracking it, just watching. You see it starts to maybe do a little something Wednesday night. And then by Thursday, we're starting to get some of those little outer bands. So that's going to bring our rain chances up a little bit. Not necessarily to a washout just yet, but this doesn't go all the way into Friday afternoon. It stops by Thursday evening. So this is our longer range model. Yes, it's typically a little more dramatic, but you can see we've got more of those bands, more showers, maybe some thunderstorms, really just going to be on and off heavy rain through Friday, Saturday, and maybe parts of Sunday. But it looks like rain coverage is going to be decreasing by Sunday, and then by Monday, we're back to what we have today. But it all depends on where it goes. Oh, what happened to our spaghettis? Oh, there they are. And now it's mostly looking like it's going to come here.
Yeah, and we're going to see what we call this vacillation. We're going to be seeing it go back and forth quite a bit. A couple things I'd like to point out at this juncture. I'm sorry, am I cutting you off?
I was just going to say most indications from both of our long-range models that we look at and then this are that it's going to kind of hug the Gulf Coast. So that's going to mean it doesn't have as much strength, but we still are going to see some decent rain.
Tropical depression, maybe tropical storm. Bottom line, it's irrelevant. I was talking about this yesterday. The intensity of the tropical system is really irrelevant in this particular case because it looks more like it's just a rainmaker anyway. And that's the biggest concern we have to pay attention to is that it doesn't tap into too much Gulf moisture. You know, what would be ironic if this thing hugs the Gulf Coast, doesn't get offshore, yet has all the energy to work with and just can't touch it. That would be interesting if that happens. And sometimes it's at the mercy of land. The land adds friction to this forecast, so to speak. So once it's over land, it's having a harder time twisting and gathering strength. But it's something that we should definitely keep an eye on. It's just a weird storm. That's all it is.
It is kind of weird. So definitely something you should stay tuned to. The impacts are going to vary greatly as we get closer to figuring out what it's actually going to do. Speaking of varying greatly, earlier the Weather Prediction Center had us seeing between 2 and 4, maybe even as much as 5 inches of rain in some places. Now they've taken us down to an inch or maybe 2 inches of rain. And I will say our long-range model rainfall totals also said that for Jackson. They were saying not very much, less than an inch, in fact. So, again, it's going to depend as we get closer on what the impacts kind of shape up to be. Right now, there are a couple of showers, but it's mostly just hot. It's 93 here in Jackson. All of us are in the 90s. Look at that. Most of us are feeling like the hundreds. Look at that. We do have heat advisories today, and then we have more widespread heat advisories in tomorrow.
There you go.
So that's going to include everyone. If you don't make it to the triple digits today, then congratulations, you'll be in the triple digits tomorrow.
That's right.
For how it feels outside. The actual temperature, though, might get close on Wednesday. Highs in the upper 90s. Looking at mid-90s still Thursday. If we do get some widespread washout conditions Friday, Saturday. Highs are going to be maybe in the mid 80s, if not in the upper 80s. So it won't feel as hot, but it doesn't really mean you're going to be able to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking that today. I'm interested to see what the high temperature gets to in Jackson. Because do you know what the current temperature was?
93.
93. So, we were 95, I think, yesterday, or 94. I can't remember. It was 94 here, I think 95 in Vicksburg. And so I would be curious to see if we hit high 90s today or tomorrow. The reason is typically when you have a tropical system advancing towards you, not only is the updrafts bringing quite a bit of moisture into the center of the storm, on the periphery, that air has to come back down. And when it comes back down, it sinks. And so, one of the things I changed on the forecast last week, you were gone already, is I kept pushing the numbers up. And the rest of the staff was like, wow, you think it's going to get that hot? And I said, just pay attention. And sure enough, Saturday and Sunday, we were mid to high 90s both days. Okay. And today and tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if we just pop.
Yeah.
And we could see upper 90s very, very closely. And that happens. It's a phenomena that, it's important, like a local meteorologist can spot it and kind of know it. Forecast models, believe it or not, still don't do a good job with it, handling it. They'll still indicate 92, 93 for tomorrow. And then you look at it and you go, well, that doesn't make any sense. So that's something to just keep in mind. It's going to be hot next couple of days. Now, why am I saying this? Because today, genius here, I was doing yard work. But I did it this morning with lots of water. But at one point, I went and sat down and was sipping my water, and my Apple Watch sent me an alarm. And it said, your heart rate's been over 120 for the last 10 minutes. And it didn't detect me doing any workout. So that's when I was like, okay, chill, baby, chill. I had a little salad for lunch to rehydrate, a strawberry salad with some feta and a vinaigrette. And then I had some nice water and just stay hydrated, people. It's not to say you shouldn't work outside, but if you're any kind of a vulnerable person to this kind of weather, whether you have a lung illness or a heart condition, unfortunately I don't have either, but I'm just letting you know, don't try to be a hero. I did it, and once I realized I was doing enough and I was feeling it, that was enough. That's it. You shut it down. But I would encourage you to take very, very serious precautions with this weather. And I'm thinking of the pets too. I've seen a lot of I don't know what's going on the last couple of days. I've seen a lot of like dogs and cats just roaming around. And I think to myself, that's gotta be hot on their paws when they're walking across the street, just hot in general. So I'm just thinking about them. And if you could do the same thing, just take good care of them and all that. So let me sum it up for you. If you're going to the Gulf Coast for the rest of this week, and you're probably there by now, but maybe you're going there this weekend. We think the worst of this weather is going to be gone by this weekend, but right now we're in that window. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's going to be traversing the Gulf Coast from east to west, which is a typical progression of a tropical system. You're going to have rain. You're going to have rip currents, okay? Not going to be a great time, but the only thing I can tell you, if this goes farther offshore, ironically, you'll still have a big riptide current. I mean, I wouldn't want to go in the water in this, but you may miss out on some of the heavier rain because it's poorly organized right now. So I wouldn't, we don't get into this whole thing about telling you whether you cancel your plans or not because it's so subjective to whatever your decision making is. But we think here in Mississippi, we're going to be dealing with this Thursday-ish, Friday, and Saturday. That's what we're going to be dealing with. And in Mississippi, away from the coast, torrential rain is a potential. And I've been saying this too, tornadoes are a potential too. Swirling air mass going northwestward, it's going to be contra to the flow. That's going to create some brief spin-up tornadoes out there. Gulf Coast of Mississippi, it's going to be a rip current situation again. So, no, this is not the week you want to go in the water. And, whether you go in the water this weekend or next week, that'll all be based on how much rain falls and whether that affects the pH levels in the water. So there are a lot of moving parts here. We feel extremely confident about this tropical system. We don't feel it's pulling any punches. We don't think there's any real surprises here. I've had someone say, this looks like Katrina, to which I say, there are no similarities between this and Katrina. So I just want to be clear about that. And we don't make fun of someone who says that.
No.
A lot of people are scared, but it is funny because wow, you went there. You didn't even pick something in the middle. I mean, I would have taken an Ivan.
I think that's just where people's mind goes,
and
though,
this is not
in tropical season.
No. And not only that, we don't have indications it's going to stick around very long. So we're kind of heightened about all this, and the reason we're heightened about all of it is because we had a flash flood that killed hundreds of people in Texas the 4th of July, and that was from the remnants of Tropical Storm Barry. So we don't play games when we're talking about these weekend tropical storms, not weekend, like Saturday, Sunday, this weekend systems, because it's really important to understand that a tropical depression or a tropical storm can do an awful lot of damage just not related to what you're expecting. And flash flooding, obviously, it's a killer. It's a number 1 killer in the United States. Excuse me, it's not. It's number 2. Number one is heat.
Yep.
Number 2 is flash flooding. Excuse me. But it's important to understand that these are the types of weather situations. If you're traveling into an area and you just don't know the roads, not a good idea to travel into it when you're talking about this kind of rapidly changing weather situation. So that's all I can tell you is right now, just take it easy. Keep paying attention to the weather. There's nothing really for you to do around here. Okay, at this point in time, and we are able to watch this with good clarity and good distance before we need to tell you to do anything. So it's not like we have a tornado watch right now and a tornado could pop at any moment. No, that's not the situation. This is going to be a situation that we can actually keep an idea and a whole perspective on as it moves toward our area. So with that being said, that long-winded answer, let's take some questions now from our wonderful audience. I'll start up at the top here. Terry Leaguer, what's going on? I think you know what's going on. Claudine Burris, are we getting the storm? We might be getting the storm. Charbel wants us to send it to Arizona. I don't think you want this kind of weather to go to Arizona. You'll have worse problems than we'll ever have.
I think so, too.
It rains for 5 minutes in Arizona, and the whole world's coming to an end. We got Mike Holbrook. Sounds like a big composition of, yes, exactly. Annie Henderson, watching from the big city of Chicago, my kind of town. Marvin Hazelwood, headed to Dauphin Island Saturday for a week. Hope it moves on out. I think you'll be fine if you go Saturday. But again, check the water conditions. Could be very treacherous. Jan Gibbons-Hendon watching from Mize. Dixie Litton, how are you this afternoon? Hey, Jennifer Joy Minga from the big city of Pearl. Melissa Price. And how are you doing today? And then, Jesse Corman Brown headed to Orange Beach. I hope it works out for you. And that's basically it. So, Elise is back again, and you can see her on Studio 3.
You can, maybe.
We're not sure?
No, we're not.
Okay, well, whatever. You'll see her on WLBT News at 4 and 4:30. Can we commit you to that?
I think so, yeah.
And then I'll be on WLBT News at 5 and 6. And guess what? We're going to come back here at 6:30 with new information to share with you about what's going on with this weather situation, with our tropical disturbance. And Kenny Metzger joining us from Mount Airy, North Carolina. It sounds like it's cooler and less humid there.
It does sound that way.
When I hear Mount, it tells me that it's elevated. So anyway, y'all have a great rest of the afternoon. If you missed any of this, we'll leave it up on Facebook for you so it can loop around in circles and you can check it out if you missed any part of it. But again, lots of updates coming your way this afternoon on WLBT News and, of course, back here, as we mentioned. And don't forget the free First Alert weather app.